Hello everyone, welcome back to Blender Point. My name is Sujat and this is a tutorial on how to create a sushi platter. So let's begin. Just to remember, this is an overview of the whole process and not the complete tutorial step by step. So you might need a little bit of experience using Blender. So keep that in mind. So now what you see is the actual scene being opened in Blender. So here you can see I have two different types of sushi. Today we will be creating this one, this sort of sushi where you have the rice beneath and you have a a sort of flesh or fish or something that you would use as a topping, and that is we will make this sort of sushi for today. So for that we are going to go ahead and create a new scene altogether. Let's do that. Now once created, all we need to do is we need to go ahead and create a cube. Go to our modifiers, go to geometry nodes and select the geometry node. Now you see it is so quick that it just popped up right there. Now you can go to the textured view and you can see the textures are also working quite fine. So how is this made? So for that we need to go to geometry nodes. Since the model is already selected, we can see the group of nodes that are making this. So it is fairly simple and fairly easy to create. So there is very little that I need to show you. So now this bottom part is actually being generated by this group of nodes. So if I go ahead and play around with the settings over here, it will take a bit of time, and now you see the settings actually changed, and it changed how the scale of that rice behaves. Now we will go ahead and change that to what it was at the beginning. We can play around with it as long as we want to and get it to a perfect position so that it looks good, right? So that's what I'm doing over here, trying and changing and seeing what works and what does not. Yes, so now it works. So here you can see the top part in action. What we have done is we have actually transformed this mesh, which is actually a cube, and transformed its geometry, then subdivided it, then I distributed some points over to the faces that were created using the subdivision, and then these points that were created by distributing on the face were transformed into points to volume, and this volume was transformed into mesh. Now I have set a very basic rice material to it and set the whole thing to smooth, and that's it for the bottom part. And for the part which is on the top, what I have done is simply the same thing. I have used the same geometry, the cube geometry, then transform the geometry a bit. If I change the scale over here, you will be able to see the scale being changed over here as well as shown previously. Now the difference is this set position over here. Now this set position is being controlled by this small group of nodes, which is basically giving it this sort of curve to it. Now if we play around with this curve over here, you will see that it actually affects the way the sushi the curve of the sushi is. Now if I go back to the same scale, you will see this drop, this drop, yes, like this. So now I'll show you what these nodes actually do. So this node actually helps me in bending the shape of this sushi top part. So what I have done is I have created a gradient texture and used a math node to add some value to it, then used a float curve to actually change how much the position is being transformed, and then I am using a combined XYZ because I only need to use the Z axis or the Z space. So I am using the Z space to control the position of this side, similar to the to the previous one. Since this is actually working on the positive side of X, right now we need to also do the same for the negative side as well. So for that, what I have done is I have created the same uh, node structure, but multiplying this gradient to -1, which gives me the negative of whatever we have here. And then we have used the same values, and we have used two math nodes. One is to add and another is to subtract some values, so that we can actually bring this to a better position. So whenever we change these values, this will also change. And then we are going to use the same combine XYZ node to use the Z value and create an offset for the left part. Now then again we have subdivided the whole thing, then we have set the material and set it to smooth, and that's it for the geometry node. It's a very simple setup. Now let's go to the shading tab.